Hey vinyl community, I am going to be starting a new series on my channel, and it is going to be called Album Wars. And what I'm going to be doing is pitting two stylistically similar albums against each other and trying to determine which is the better album. I know I'm not breaking any new ground. I know other YouTubers have done the same theme on their channel where they pit two albums and then they choose one at the end, kind of a battle royale. But I want to put my own little personal spin on it. I like the whole idea. And so let's see where this one goes. So today, the two albums that I am going to have duke it out are going to be Led Zeppelin's iconic fourth album, Led Zeppelin IV, as most people call it, and Huey Lewis and the News for their fourth album. So which one do I like better? Well, you got to consider this came out in 1971. It has Stairway to Heaven on it. It's got Black Dog, got When the Levee Breaks. I mean, this is generally considered as one of Led Zeppelin's best albums, if not their best album. This album came out in, I believe it was 1985, and it was all over the radio. So many hits on here. You've got Jacob's Ladder, Doing It All for My Baby, Hip to Be Square, I Know What I Like, simple as that. I mean, every track on here could have been a single. This really, for all intents and purposes, is Huey Lewis and the News' strongest and best album. They, of course, were hard rock icons of the 1980s, kind of faded a bit in the 1990s, but definitely, they don't get the respect I think that they deserve. I mean, Huey Lewis and the News, they were brought up, in the bars, started out as a bar band. They definitely paid their dues. And in the 80s, they kind of got the respect that they had been waiting so long to achieve with Sports, which was the album before this one. But this one is, a strong contender for one of the best albums of the 1980s, I feel. And so lead-off tracks, you got Black Dog on here, which is a gritty, dirty, sleazy Delta blues rocker. Robert Plant sings it so well. You got the rhythm section of Jimmy Page, John Paul Jones, and John Bonham just kicking ass on it. And the lead-off track on here, Jacob's Ladder, I mean, it is no slouch either. Step by Step, Wrong by Wrong. I mean, they come out of the gate swinging on this album. They had so much to prove. They wanted to show we're not a one-album wonder with Sports. And Jacob's Ladder is an iconic track. It is a ballsy, heavy, hard-rocking lead-off track, and I submit to you it is every bit as good as Black Dog. Now the second track on Led Zeppelin IV, we got Rock and Roll, which is another sleazy, heavy, hard rock. You got the drum rhythm from, what's that Little Richard track? I Hear You Knocking, that that whole thing that was borrowed from Little Richard. But it is a straightforward, heavy, hard rocking track. And then Stuck With You on here is also, it's a pretty gritty, heavy track on here. It's a little more romantic, I think, than the stuff Led Zeppelin covers on their albums. But catchy as all hell and kind of a fun, bouncy little track, whereas, Rock and Roll knocks you over the head. Stuck With You is a little bit more charming, a little fun, a little more playful, but, there's nothing wrong with fun and playful. Getting knocked over the head is, not a bad way to continue the album on Led Zeppelin IV, but Huey Lewis and the News, they took a different approach. And this was, I don't think this was the lead-off single, but it was a single off this album. And it's just fun, but it's also no nonsense. And that is, Huey Lewis and the News are kind of incorporating some of the bar band style that they had. And yet it's fun, it's radio friendly. It's got a bit more charm than Rock and Roll does. And I'm not saying Rock and Roll is a bad track, but I think, Stuck With You sticks with you a bit longer than Rock and Roll does. On the rest of side one on here, you got Whole Lotta Lovin'. didn't Led Zeppelin have a track similar to that, Whole Lotta Love? And yeah, the two are pretty similar. But Whole Lotta Love, again, a gritty blues rocker. You think Led Zeppelin can kick ass on the blues? Well, take a listen to Whole Lotta Lovin', because that is a gritty, dirty, sleazy, kind of fun bar band track. And third track on here, which is a Battle of Evermore. You've got Robert Plant and Sandy Denny. English folk rock, which is fine, but for me, I don't know, I get bored with the track. I'm not really a huge fan of it. Give me Whole Lotta Lovin' any day of the week. And then on side one, also right after Whole Lotta Lovin', you got Doing It All for My Baby, which again is just kind of, Huey Lewis and the News were definitely loved their Motown stack soul, and it's really an homage to the music that they loved, and I love kind of that R&B flavor that they do on that track. So again, it's a fun track. Huey Lewis and the News are a great party band. This is a great album to throw on at a party. And then the last track, Hip to Be Square, against Stairway to Heaven. Stairway to Heaven, one of the greatest rock anthems of all time. And you can argue, well, it's been overplayed, and if I never hear Stairway to Heaven again, I'll be happy. But still a great track. I mean, no question. It builds to that crescendo. It starts off very soft and acoustic. You got the flute there, and then it builds and it builds and it builds. And then by the end, you got that blistering Jimmy Page guitar riff, and it all, kind of comes together, and then it gets soft again. Hip to Be Square, it swings, it's got rhythm, it's got balls on it, it's heavy at times, you got a lot of horns. Led Zeppelin doesn't have any horns. Huey Lewis has horns all over the place, but they're swinging for the fences here, no pun intended. But definitely a great track, one of the heaviest and I think most iconic anthems of the 1980s, and it definitely conveyed, that 1980s feel. You got Huey Lewis and the News saying, look, we're cool. You might think we don't look cool, but look, as if there was any doubt, we got this dude smoking on the back. Like, hey, we can be badass too. So that's pretty much, Huey Lewis, I guess you might call it his manifesto. Like, you may think we look square, but listen to this album and you will know that we kick some ass. So side one, first side one on here. I mean, is there really any contest? When you look at the tracks, track by track, you match them up to the tracks on Led Zeppelin IV. You got to give the nod to Huey Lewis and the News. Now, as for side two, Misty Mountain Hop, lead off track on side two for Led Zeppelin IV. On Huey Lewis and the News 4, I Know What I Like, which is basically like, hey, I know what I like. You're not going to convince me otherwise. Don't try to change me. Don't try to make me something I'm not. I'm comfortable in my own skin, and I know what I like. And don't try to convince me otherwise. Misty Mountain Hop, it's got a nice little funky groove to it, but I don't know. Lyrics are kind of about a hippie party that got broken up by the police. And that's kind of about it. Not a whole lot of depth there, but a good track. I'm not saying it's not, but, against I Know What I Like. I know what I like, and I like this. Okay, the next track, I Never Walk Alone, against Four Sticks. Four Sticks is cool. I'll give I'll give the nod to Four Sticks. Four Sticks is a very cool song. I like the Eastern rhythms. It's kind of Led Zeppelin stepping outside their comfort zone, trying some new things, and I think it's cool. I Never Walk Alone. It's all right. Same for Forest for the Trees. It's okay. Nothing special there. I'm not saying I don't like it, but it's kind of a groovy little track. And then you've got Going to California, which I like it. It's kind of a gentle acoustic, almost singer-songwriter, but it shows Led Zeppelin can be heavy and they can also be gentle. Huey Lewis and the News, Naturally. Now, Huey Lewis and the News have some excellent harmonies, and when they harmonize, they can harmonize like the best of them. They love to kind of riff on the whole doo-wop thing from the 1950s and early 60s, and Naturally, it's an a cappella doo-wop song, and it is cool as hell. You play this against Going to California. I don't care how much you like Going to California, but Huey Lewis and the News deliver the goods, and sorry, Zeppelin, but the News are going to take this round. And then the last track on the album, Simple as That. Again, kind of, you know, a little finger snapping. You know, it's a fun, playful little track. And again, it also showcases Huey Lewis and the News harmonies. When the levee breaks on here, you got that thundering drum riff. I think it was recorded in a stairwell. John Bonham. There's no other drummer like John Bonham. You know, that thick, heavy, thundering, cavernous drum sound that he got on that track. It's a great, gritty blues song. But, you know, Simple as That is simple. It's a simple track. And it's not pretentious. It's not trying to be more than it is. It's not trying to be showy. It's not trying to show off. It's like, you know, let's end this album on kind of a breezy, a little positive note. And, you know, I don't know. I'm going to call it a tie between Simple as That and When the Levee Breaks. It's a draw for that one. But which album is more enjoyable overall? Which album is gonna win, duking it out? Which is the better album? And again, this is my own personal opinion, so don't take it too serious. Don't get all bent out of shape. But the winner of Fore versus Fore, yeah, you know, Huey Lewis and the News, they play to their strengths. They know what they are. They're diverse. You got so many different styles on here. You got R&B, you got blues, you got doo-wop, you got hard rock, you got bar band boogie. So many great moments on this album. And this is a great album too. I am not saying, don't put in the comment section, you're hating on Led Zeppelin IV. I am not. I love Led Zeppelin IV. I think it's a great track, but I think it's a great album. I mean, come on. Huey Lewis and the News 4. I mean, it's close. It's close. Next week, I might feel differently, but today, gotta go with Fore. So anyway, let me know in the comment section what you think. You know, don't hate on me. Come on, it's just my own personal opinion, but let me know what you think. Which one do you think is better? Which album would you go with? And, you know, if you like this video, give me a like. If you don't like this video, just tune into something else. But if you like these videos, if you like my videos, click subscribe, and everybody have a great day.